Great day, everyone. I pray that this finds you well. I'm Andre, also known as That Guy Amped, from the Amped Up Squad podcast, and you're listening to 20TIMinutes. Listen up.
Time to get amped. Time to get amped. Episode 17 of 20TIMinutes. I am your host, Tim McCarthy. This is a podcast that's roughly 20 minutes that focuses on mental health with my humor, some personal stories, some misinformation because I'm not that smart, but then I do a PSA at the end of the episode, so I'm not liable for anything. And then just a couple hijinks. Who doesn't love hijinks? I do. We got to bring that word back. That introduction was done by Andre, aka That Guy Amped of the Amped Up Squad podcast. Andre is a motivational speaker and a life coach, and he loves people. He loves getting people motivated. The guy's awesome. I met him on Twitter, and we connected out of nowhere again. That's how I make friends on the internet. And we've been chatting a lot, and I definitely want to try to get him on the podcast for an interview or vice versa. I know we talked briefly about that. But if you haven't met Andre, he is on my Instagram and Twitter and Facebook that I uploaded his video for his little promo for this episode. So hopefully you check that out. So he's part of the Amped Up Squad. You can follow them on IG. At That Guy Amped for him, and then on Twitter, Andre Powell and Amped Up Squad on Twitter. You can also get information at ampedspeaks.com. That's AMPPED speaks, the way it's spelled, .com. Easy to find, great guy. He's a good follow on Twitter. So him and his buddies, he's 1/5 of the Amped Up Squad. They do videos on YouTube as well as a podcast on all major streaming apps. They just like to have fun with each other. Do a lot of Q&As. They do some hijinks. People that do hijinks, they know what they're up to. They're great people. But salute to Andre, really nice guy. I'm always interested in people that are motivational speakers because I always thought about that if I was ever going to be one. Because it must be so hard to try to motivate somebody and they don't react to it in a positive way. I got to pick his brain on that, which I should have. I just thought of that idea of how you get through that. Because he's such a jovial, uplifting guy who just spreads positivity. You can tell he's a great guy just by his vibe and the way he talks to people. And he's very supportive of me. Always, he doesn't like give me one-word answers. It's always like a conversation. So he's a true human being that you should be friends with. Because having nice friends is always nice. You know what I mean? It's always great. Back in my day, you had to try to make friends on AOL or AIM and hit them with the old ASL. Then you don't know if they're telling the truth or you're talking to some guy that's going to go kill you. So now you can kind of see what people look like and not get killed. ASL, 35M, Massachusetts. Put it on the board. But yeah, that's he's got a great thing going on. I don't know if I could be a motivational speaker because I get defeated so easily. And I love getting people jacked up. I was actually recently called an intense human. I don't know, it wasn't in a negative way, but it made me think. So I was asking a bunch of close buddies of mine, Dickie and Duff, big fans. And I was like, would you describe me as intense? And they're like, well, you're definitely competitive, which I am. I don't like losing. I actually just got my energy bill that said you're an efficient neighbor for electricity, and I was at like 407, but the most efficient people were at like 397, and they put you in great, good, or like needs improvement, and they put me in the good. I was 2% away from the top. Like, that has nothing to do with anything, but I wanted that top spot. I love being number one, and I love winning. So I can get intense, I feel like, but I'm not an intense like roid rage people that just like scream in your face. Raw berry. We decided that the best phrase for me is aggressively animated. I come at you like a cartoon character. The only difference is I change my clothes every day. Sometimes. I always thought of this too. How come there's no cartoon shows that age the characters? Like The Simpsons stay being The Simpsons at all the ages. Like, wouldn't they want to try to like progress certain characters and then you can draw them a little bit older? I need to trademark that before that happens, before Fox takes that down and they ruin it. Call it like I don't know, some bad name. I can't even think right now. I'm so scrambled right now. Doing this podcast last minute. which I kind of like. Keeps me on my toes. So I got to get everything in. Last week, I don't know if you guys noticed, exactly 20 minutes. If you noticed that, you a diehard fan, and I like it. Recently, I took this weekend off. Lindsay went away, so I got to just chill with the dogs, decompress, you know? So the day before she left, we got pedicures. If you don't get pedicures, what are you doing with your life? They are phenomenal. Sorry, my throat has been killing me. People are always like weirded out. There's definitely a stigma with pedicures. Dudes would be like, dude, that's so gay, dude. That's so gay. Like, what is gay about getting your feet cleaned? We're on our feet, like, constantly. And it's awesome. You get your legs massaged. You get your little cheese grater feet getting all smooth. I don't really like feet either. Lindsay hates feet, but you got to take care of your feet. Take care of your feet, your back, and your mind. Those things are huge. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes, pretty much. You need to take care of that. You think they made that song for no reason? There's a reason Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes was a jam. That song slaps. Big fan of that. Back to motivation, though. I have such a bad time trying to motivate myself, and I always get motivated from other people. Like, if I read, like, a motivational quote, I sometimes try to get motivated, but getting started is the hardest part. And I would love to hear what you guys do to be motivated, because I need a little bit of motivation, and I could use all of it. Like, I go to the gym, but my sleep schedule is just, like, fucking me up. Like, working overnights and trying to go to the gym to get beat up by people is very tough. Very tough. But when I go, it's awesome. The hardest part is just getting going. Like my good buddy said, you just need to form good habits. And I need to do that. I need to do that soon and get my life back in order, because I'm all over the map per usual. But Lindsay is back. She had a great weekend. I'm very happy for her. She deserved it. Went up for kind of different reasons to Maine, but she had a blast. She had a blast. So, couple updates with the podcast. The t-shirt sales, we did a great job, guys, for everyone that purchased one. I raised $300. Well, we raised $300, not me. This was a collaborative raise the money. I raised $300 to donate to the Plymouth County Suicide Prevention Coalition. Kind of a mouthful, but I always remember it now because I talked with my girl Jenny today. Super nice. Talked for like 20 minutes. Super appreciative. And if you know me, I feel like 300 wasn't enough, even though it was in hindsight. But I'm just so my own worst enemy, and I think in my head they're gonna be like, "Well, this is lame." They're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, thanks for pocket change." But she reassured me it would go to a lot because they do a lot of classes, nonprofit obviously, and so she was like, sometimes books can cost up to like $25. So if you do the math, that's a bunch of books that will help classes. And she said you could probably help out 3 to 4 classes. So it felt really good. I pretty much broke even, which I'm honest about. We can be realistic here. I'd rather take the free advertisement with my shirts. So if you bought a shirt, it is on the way. And I need you to take a photo with it on, depending on where you are. You can make it fun. You can make it goofy. You can get into some hijinks with it. Just don't get arrested in it, because I don't need that negativity. And I don't think any criminals listen to this podcast, which is good, which is very good. Also, another update about the podcast. This is not going to be a normal thing. I'm going to start doing bonus episodes and release them on Thursdays. They're not going to be 20 minutes, so I don't need your comments about, oh, that wasn't 20 minutes, because I will get jaded and I'll get petty, Tom Petty, okay? Don't do that to me. But I already recorded my first interview. We did a collaboration episode with Haley of Podcast 27. She did the intro last week. Yeah, she did. She's also a big proponent of mental health, which I've already talked about. So we recorded that on Zoom. It will be on YouTube. It will be released this Thursday. Kind of breaks it up so you can hear my voice more. You're not obligated to listen. I'm not going to hold you to it. I'm not going to really promote it. You'll just see little notifications pop up. Yeah, so I'm very excited for that. It took me a while to figure it out. I wanted to get comfortable, and I actually have a lot of people lined up for it, which I'm super excited about. And I think Andre is probably going to be one. I actually have another interview tomorrow I totally forgot about. Bex and the Bee out of the UK. Yeah, I got to talk to them again because I already rescheduled with them before, and I feel so bad because there's lost translation of time zones. And I'm like, oh, 2:30 my time? And they're like, yeah. But then I think it's not my two. It just gets confusing. But I take all the blame because I'm an idiot. So it's not that bad. Another thing, too, I wanted to shout out my guy, Billy. Big fan of the podcast. So I started this thing called Buy Me a Coffee. It's online. I don't promote it because I'm not looking for handouts whatsoever. If you know what Patreon is, if you follow like any other podcast, they have like a thing where you can sign up for a subscription with the podcast and get like whatever. You can get the episode early. You can get like merch, blah, blah, blah. I didn't like the way it was set up. It was just like a weird, like, it's, what's the word? It's like egomania a little bit, in my opinion. It's like, yeah, I'm doing all this. Like, I have a decent amount of people that listen, but I feel like I didn't have the chops to be on the Patreon. So I found Buy Me a Coffee, and it's pretty much almost the same thing, but a little bit better with a little bit of a tweak. So obviously, to keep this podcast running, I do spend money, but you got to spend money to make money. And again, I don't throw that out there or advertise it too much, but just to explain what Billy did for me, really appreciative. So you can quote unquote buy me a coffee or buy me a pizza. So you pretty much can sign up for a subscription with my podcast. You can donate $1, $3, $5. I pretty much did the cheapest one you can do. And you can also pay for the year for $20. And I'm still trying to think of like ideas for this podcast to keep it in there so people would want to do it. So I pretty much like have my Instagram, like the close friends, which I can post more. I can send them early episodes if they want. So if you have any other ideas for me, let me know. But the thing that got me on it is you can have extra payments. So if you wanted to donate a certain amount of money to me, I can give you like a gift. So if you donate like $2, I send you stickers. You donate $5, I draw you a shitty photo and I'll mail it to you. You tell me what you want me to draw and I'll draw it and then send it to you. But again, I am an awful drawer. If I try to draw with a ruler, not a straight line. Don't know why. Then I stole this from my good buddy Jimmy Pemberton, who used to do it for his show, is play a game of Connect 4 or Battleship over Zoom. So if you want to do that, we can do that. I'll crank call your work, X, an enemy. I'll do that. I got that on the list. See, I can come up with better ridiculous ideas that I can kind of go through with, and I feel like it's worth it. So if you want to check it out, buy me a coffee. 20TIMinutes is the name on everything. It's kind of fun. But he paid for the year, so that helps me out a lot because the hosting site for this podcast does cost money. Again, I do not mind paying it out of pocket because this was my idea, not anyone else's idea to do a podcast. This is my podcast. I'm on the hook for it. And you can also pay for an intro if you want. It's got to be kind of like nice. You can't be coming on being like, yeah, nextslitterspodcast.com. Like, can't really do that. Got to keep it positive. So if you have any positivity, said this before, let me know. We'll chat. So I had this like dumb idea, and I always run them by Lindsay first because I'm like, is this too stupid for the podcast? And she's like, yeah. So then I'm like, okay, I'll do it. Just kidding. So, damn, I'm always like so thirsty up in here. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. This is going to be edited out on the visual, not on the visual, but on the audio. So here's a cheers to you on YouTube watching me take a sip. Shout out to the Paranormal Burrito and Classical Adventures for one. They sent me stickers and they are on my water bottle. Free advertisement. You guys owe me a bunch of money. Just kidding. Just advertise me back. Love you. So I had this like idea in my head that historical figures, like they obviously had mental health issues, but they didn't have like the resources or like actual doctors to help them out. Like they would just show up and be like, oh, you're a witch. Bang, shoot you in the head. That was it. You have a toothache? Bang, dead. Witch. And it's just like everything had mercury in it. Like every medicine was like, hey, here's alcohol, cocaine, and mercury. Figure it out and get back on. But in my head, I was thinking like what if like Abe Lincoln had like severe anxiety before he went out for the Gettysburg Address? Wait, is it Gettysburg Address? Shit, I don't know history. Oh man, I feel so stupid. I wasn't going to say that because I don't know if it's right. 7 years ago. I don't know how long that is, but we should bring that back too. Like him just like shaking and like just being like mad scared about it. Then I thought about Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel. Just kidding. It's the Sistine Chapel. I know that. I just wanted you guys to be like, come on, Tim. Stupid. I know. Just kidding. Like if he had like OCD and he just was like so intricate and like a perfectionist that he was like, that dick is not the size I wanted. And he just keeps going back and back and back. Well, I wanted to Google it before I said this because I should back up ideas that I have so I don't sound stupid. So I looked it up, and two out of like the 6 people I saw on a list were Michelangelo and Abe Lincoln. Abe Lincoln had like very bad depression. And again, they were like, yeah, here's some mercury, eat it up. And it was like, I think it was like his wife died, or like he had a lot of just depressing shit happen to him. And it was like, it wasn't like the long drawn out like manic depression. I think he just got super sad sometimes, but I found that super interesting because again, he can't get, they diagnosed him like years later. Like they couldn't even help him at the time. And that guy just went through. So I think he was probably like, okay, getting shot in the head, which not really, but like if that was me and I was super depressed, I'm like, I can't take being a president anymore. I don't even like sitting up in this booth. Oh, here comes my boy, John Wilkes Booth. Bang. All right. He probably felt okay about it. But I guess I was reading too is he helped his own depression by making like jokes all the time. And I would love to hear like what the jokes were back then. So many hijinks with Abe Lincoln. Then with Michelangelo, he has Asperger's. They diagnosed him with that. It's like high functioning autism. So that's like super cool. Like to be like that and paint beautiful art. Like people don't do that no more. Can they do that? I feel like it's like a different skill. Like people can draw and paint really well, but that is like, you go to like one of those things with the artwork on the ceiling, I'll break my neck looking at that. That is like legit. Then I can relate with this guy really hard. Again, I'm like an amateur classical music guy. Beethoven, straight up bipolar. Read about him and you're like, yep, that dude was bipolar as shit. Listen to any of his songs. What was the one song that I found? It was like Rage Over a Lost Coin or a Lost Penny. And that song is all over the map. It feels like like my bipolar. Like I feel it in my blood, the way he makes songs. Go listen to that. I will put that up. Again, I don't do much research. I don't even know how you guys listen to me. That's why you guys are the best fans in the world. Best fans, you know. Love you guys. It's great. I'm gonna look that up real quick. But I find that like super like funny in a way, and it's not supposed to be funny. Like, oh, depression. And I was telling Jenny from suicide prevention that I was like, that's how I was, because I like to preference people before they listen so they know what they're getting into with me. I'm like, yeah, I have a dark sense of humor, and I say a lot of things that are inaccurate, and but you'll maybe have a laugh or two. So the song is called Rage Over a Lost Penny, and that is a telltale sign that that dude had bipolar tendencies. He was nuts. He just got super frustrated after going deaf. He like inherited his nephew after his brother died, and he was like locking him up and shit. Dude, back then was crazy. If you had to take a time machine to one place on Earth, like where would you go? Like at what time? I don't know what I would do. I think I would go to the 70s and go to Club 54, Studio 54, just to watch, just to see what people are like. And they were probably crazy, probably so much cocaine. I don't know if anyone is aware of, which you are, is the royal family. I'm going to touch on this real quick. Like, I don't know what they do, and they're clearly having issues or whatever. And, where was I going with this? I don't know. I'm losing my mind. I'm literally losing my mind. I'm going to probably talk about this later. Like, oh, I totally forgot about the royal family. But I was like watching that. Oh, I know what it was. Okay, the royal family. This is a cool story. I'm going to end with this. Is because Princess Diana is coming back up. My mom's like a diehard Princess Diana fan. Like, die-hard Diana. So she used to hang out with Freddie Mercury and like Elton John, and like would just hang with them because royalty, like when you're famous, you just make friends with famous people. And the party was dying down, like Elton John was going home, and she was like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, oh, we're going to go to this like club or whatever. And she was like, I kind of want to go. So Freddie Mercury and whoever else was with them like dressed her up like a guy, got her into the club. She bought like a beer and she was like, I can't believe this worked. So Princess Diana just ripped it with a bunch of normal people. And I think that is like the coolest story, because hanging with Freddie Mercury was probably so fucking awesome. He would be, oh man, imagine going back in time and seeing Queen. Oh, dude, that would be a show. Absolute show. So let me end with this, my song suggestion and movie suggestion. Johnny Cash, Won't Back Down, Tom Petty cover. Great jam. It's as good as the Trent Reznor Hurt. Johnny Cash was great. I'm not a huge like new country fan, but that old country I like, even though like that song isn't country for the cover. And then Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Top 5 movie for your boy here. Favorite part of that movie is when the ex-boyfriend shows up after they walk out of the dinosaur, and the woman goes, Andy, and then Pee-wee goes, Andy. That's like one of my favorite scenes. So if your name is Andy, I've definitely done that to you. And if you meet me, I will do that to you. So I apologize. Again, guys, thank you so much for checking with me. 20 minutes. I am your host, Tim McCarthy. Real quick, again, I got interviews coming up. I'm going to be dropping those on Thursday. I have a couple people in the works to do one with, and I can't wait to chat with them. It's going to be fun. I want to keep it fun. I'm trying to stay positive, trying to stay motivated. Go follow Andre, That Guy Amped. You can follow him on That Guy Amped and the Amped Up Squad, ampspeaks.com. I'm retweeting him all the time on Twitter. Great guy. Again, thank you, Andre. Salute to you. Love you. And stay amped, all right? That is it. Episode 17 is in the books. Like always, I legit love you guys so much. Thank you. You don't know how much it means to me that I raised that type of money for a thing that a cause that means a lot to me. And without getting all teary-eyed to end this episode, time's up. Go have yourself a day, and I love you. Go download the 20 Minutes app, by the way, okay? Help a brother out. Appetizers, LLC. Have a good one.
This podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. If you are feeling suicidal, please dial 911.